Shalom. My name is Joseph Shulam. I come from Jerusalem, Israel. I'm the director of Nativia Bible Instruction Ministry in Jerusalem. And I was actually born in Bulgaria, in Sofia, and immigrated to Israel in 1947, a few months before the establishment of the State of Israel. And so I have been there for more than 71 years. In Israel, raised up in Jerusalem. I am a Jew. I am a Jew who believes that Yeshua, Jesus, is the Messiah of Israel. And of course, the most important question that I want to answer is, why does a Jew believe that Jesus is the Messiah, that Yeshua is the Messiah? I'm using two names, Jesus and Yeshua, because Jesus is not his name. It's a transliteration into Greek, and then a transliteration from the Greek to English and to Western languages. In Chinese, the name is very similar to the Hebrew, Yeshu. Yeshu is the proper name in which Yeshua was called in the land of Israel in his day, because he was a Galilean, and Yeshu is the pronunciation of Yeshua in the Galilean dialect. Okay, so it got to China somehow with the name Yeshu, not with the name Jesus. I'm happy about that. I've been ministering in Hong Kong probably since the middle of the 90s, 96 or something like that. And been coming every year. For the last few years, I've been coming by the invitation of the 611 Church, that we have established a very good relationship with them because they love Israel, and they love the God of Israel, and they love the Messiah of Israel, Yeshua, and they stand with Israel in prayer all the time, and stand with the Jewish disciples of Yeshua in the land of Israel as well. And now I'm happy to meet here the Creation TV. Creation TV, an evangelistic television station. I'm very interested in evangelism. I'm very interested in evangelism because it is the main purpose for the existence of the family of God's children and of the church. And the church is doing very little evangelism in the West, and there are some churches in China that are doing more evangelism, and there are some churches in Hong Kong that are doing more evangelism, but evangelism is a drastic need for Christians, and not only for trained pastors and people who work in the church, but for every believer. Every believer is called to share the gospel. So I'm very interested in that, and I'll tell you how I became a believer. I was raised Jewish in a home where there was no faith in God, no religion, anti-religion and anti-religious people. That's the kind of home I was raised. Of course, my parents came from Europe, and they're survivors of the Holocaust. And my mother, my sister, my grandmother, my uncle, they were all in labor camp in Bulgaria, not in a death camp, because there was no death camp in Bulgaria. And I had no religion, no knowledge of religion at all. Not any religion, but my father hated all religion and didn't believe in God. That's how I was raised. Went to high school. In high school, the teacher gave assignments. They had 4 topics for the whole class, and you could choose one of the 4 topics for a work of the whole year. And I chose how Christianity began. A part of that choice was to read in the Hebrew Encyclopedia, to read about Christianity, and I read about Christianity, and it said Christianity was started by Jews, and it's divided into 2 major halves, the Catholic churches and the Protestant churches, And the Catholic Church is divided into two major halves. In the Russian side, the Orthodox side, and the Catholic side, and the Protestants are divided into two major halves, the Calvinists and the Lutherans, to make it simple, and so forth. And the holidays of Christianity are Christmas and Easter and Halloween and St. Valentine's Day and all these holidays. Well, okay, I read it, summarized it, and I went to the teacher what else I need to do. And he said, you need to read some in the New Testament. Read the first 10 chapters of Matthew and the first 10 chapters of the book of Acts. It'll give you a picture of what it is like. I read it and got very upset. Why was I upset? I was upset because there was nothing Christian in what I read in the New Testament. Zero Christian. There were no Protestants, no Catholics, no Orthodox, no Santa Claus, no Easter. None of these things are in the New Testament. So I went to my teacher and I said, listen, there's nothing Christian in the New Testament. He said, in the beginning, Jesus and his disciples were great. And they were Jews and they never left Judaism and they were great. Later on, the whole thing got messed up. I did my work for high school. I got a good grade for it. And then, like all high school students, I thought I was an expert on Christianity, but I never met a Christian. I never talked to a Christian. Until two missionary families moved to our neighborhood. And we would have never met them. They were American. But they had two things that all the boys in the neighborhood were interested in. They had brand new, big station wagon cars, 1960 station wagon, Chevrolet and Plymouth. Beautiful cars. Even the president of Israel didn't have a car that beautiful. And they had 10 children together. They had some beautiful American girls. That's why the whole neighborhood went to play with them. And that was the first Christians that I met. And you're going to hear the continuation of this in the next session. That's why I want you to stay in this channel and follow this story that will fascinate you. May God bless you.